These are the two big ones, 7 and 13. Is there something else?
They're the consumer ones, right? So 7 to 13 are generally consumer bankruptcies. Then there's some other bankruptcies that are generally for business. Although, funnily, there could be a circumstance where a person does not qualify for either 7 or 13, and they have to file for 11, which is generally only for businesses. It's very rare, but it does happen because of basically qualifications for both 7 and 13. Have you ever had an 11 before? Or?
I haven't had 11, but basically the biggest situation we have is the debt limit situation.
There's a limit on how much debt you can have.
So unsecured debt, like credit cards, stuff like that, it's now $465,000. So if you owe over $465,000 in credit cards or personal loans, those are generally the big ones, you can't file a 7, you have to file 13. And for 11. And for a and for secured debt, the limit is $1,395,000. So that means if you buy a Maybach somehow and you can't afford it, and now you owe $500,000, you can't just file a Chapter 13. You go right into the Chapter 11 pool.
I keep seeing one Maybach in my neighborhood, and I'm trying to figure out who it belongs to.
So okay, and I guess what is the distinction between 11 and 7 and 13?
So again, generally 11 is just for businesses, like whatever business wants to file and like refinance all their debt, restructure all their debt and stuff like that. Generally, a person would not file, but it's just like sometimes they don't feel in either 7 or 13, and they could file for 11. 11 is going to be like very similar to 13. But because they don't qualify for the 13 based on the law, they'll have to file 11. And 11 is just them. Like I usually say, like one bankruptcy case, because we do a lot of state court cases, and one bankruptcy case, the amount of work is like 4 or 5 state court cases. It's like way more work.
11.
And no, like state court compared to a bankruptcy case. So state court we do a lot. I would say 4 state court cases equals 1 bankruptcy case. But then 1 Chapter 13, like 5 Chapter 13 case will probably be like the amount of work like 1 Chapter 11. The amount of work in Chapter 11 is just inconceivable. Like some attorneys will do 2 cases a year. They'll have a retainer of like 70 grand. They're just super complicated and hard. So we don't. That's why.
What makes them harder? Like just the steps you have
amount
to do
of
to
work,
complete them?
yeah. Like you have to file different stuff with court like every single day, all business reports, everything like that. Like like whenever you see like those big big companies filing for bankruptcy and how much they pay to the bankruptcy counsel, it's like millions of dollars. Like Red Lobster was doing that, whoever, all those big companies who do restructuring, that's like the biggest like retainers that they pay the lawyers, it's the bankruptcy lawyers.
Yep. I mean, and then also, especially with these big companies, they may hire like, I forget who it was or what entity, they hire like 19 different firms. Yeah. Because the thing is, remember, at the end of the day, whether you're an individual or corporation,
one business going bankrupt hired 19
billion dollars, because everything has to be accounted for. And then also in a Chapter 11, crazy things happen. Like I was reading that Michael Lewis book about FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, and basically the bankruptcy with that. And pretty much the minute they filed bankruptcy, they hired an attorney. The firm that did, they hired an attorney to come in and act as CEO, and he started firing people, and then they had to get other firms involved to basically do an accounting of everything, to basically get everything sold off. But the Chapter 11 is very complex. But there are also, and just as a side note, there are also a few other types of bankruptcy. Yeah. Chapter 12, which is for family farms and fisheries, not factory farms and fisheries. You have Chapter 9, which is municipalities, i.e. Detroit. And then you have the newest one, Chapter 15, which is corporations or foreign corporations that have substantial interest in the United States. So now they could actually file bankruptcy in the United States.
Have you ever had a farmer or a fisherman?
Unfortunately, no.
I want to get one day. Well, I've never had one either for Chapter 12.